At the time, about maybe 8, 9 years, I believe it was. I was a cradle robber. Okay? We got together, he let his woman go, and it went from there. Then when the music came to be part of my life, now we were tree choppers back then. If nobody knows it, that's my version. We used to chop some trees. So we had that in common. And they came to me one day, they said, look, we want to use your children to be spokespersons for signs for bomb shelter. I said, okay, no problem. Well, they did. And you might see that in some of the videos. Me and Lowe's had a love-hate relationship. Let's just say the least. More like I was a mama, because he was younger than I, even though I had kids. So I had a grown-up kid and 2 small children. But nonetheless, he had his own gift, and I didn't recognize it at the time, but then as I began to listen to Brian, who I now affectionately call the master of beats, the beat master. Los is a lyricist genius to me. As the music progressed and I was around them, we would fight, we would argue, he would make music, he would write music, we had good times, bad times, met a lot of people. Los is not a fighter. He's an instigator. He's an instigator. He'll use his words now. He's gonna tap into that and get you riled up and then try to back down. But he's not a fighter. So yes, his death was, to me, a very hard one to fathom. And there's times he runs through my mind and it's sometimes surreal. But I know God makes no mistakes. He knew it before we even knew it, how it was going to be. So we're just gonna let that go there. But Los was a gentle soul, but a strong spirit. He touched a lot of lives. Now my son, for some of y'all who know him and don't know him, he went away that I would have preferred him not to go, but nonetheless, he's serving time right now, being out here in these streets. And when he was free, Los would always keep contact with me to let me know what he was out here doing. But my son being locked up now for some years, on the day of Los's death, he found out before I found out. And I still can't understand how a person in prison finds out things on the street, but they do. And he sends his love for this day. I got my phone on me. He said, I'm gonna do my best if they let me out to call. Because Los was very important to my children. He did a lot of things with my kids that I didn't do, that I was like Halloween, Los loved to dress up. I told my husband, who I'm married now, who met Los years ago, I told you I was a Jezebel. Okay? So when my husband, he knew Los, we all worked together. He said, how you out here talking to me and you got a man in there? I said, don't you worry about that. I got this under control. That's not a good thing, but it's the truth. Nonetheless, there's a few more people on the road right now. I'm coming from Philly and some other areas that Los touched a lot of people near and far. Near and far. He was a character. He would make you laugh when you're sad. He would make you mad when you're happy. He would talk a lot of mess. I know today I was blessed by Brian and my brother to share his homegoing from his aunt on his father's side of the family. And I was in Atlanta at the time, and it was a sad moment for me. Now I'm gonna say this, and it may not be the appropriate thing to some, but I'm gonna say it because I'm gonna speak the truth. I don't know, I saw the picture. I said, well, they don't know him because they wouldn't have wore that. He wouldn't have wore that. I don't think I ever seen him in a suit unless I put him in one time, and that was just by my demand. He was like, I don't really feel comfortable. He wore his gloves though. I said, you can do that. But he's going to be missed by me and many. I know he's going to live on through a lot of us here. Some faces I know, some faces I don't, but that's okay, because over these years that he's been here, I've been there. I would always try to stay in contact with him through people, because I had to keep and guard myself for a certain period of things, because like I said, I am a married woman, and there's an order, and those would have put that out of order. And I would have allowed him to put that out of order, because I care that much for the man. I have a tattoo on my person that has his name on it. I do. And the tattoo is twofold. One is because, not like most people go get a name on it because you was in a relationship with somebody. No, that's not why I did it. I did it because beyond our relationship, it's going to go forever. My husband understands. I tell you, he said, I understand. And I thank God for my husband, because he's not that type of man or insensitive or jealous or anything. He said, no, I understand. There's nothing that I'm insecure about in myself. Lowe's meant a lot to me, and I will forever love him. Even if we couldn't work it out in our relationship for 10 years, I will forever love him. If he ever needed me for anything, all he had to do was call me. He went into some things that I didn't agree with, so I had to cut myself away from certain things of that. But nonetheless, when he reached out for help, I would always help. The other side of it is, I have a tattoo on it that says brain teaser. I did go to school. I am an educated woman. Took some courses in psychology, so I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say I'm a psychologist, but nonetheless, I have this ability, the gift from God, to convince people of things. More or less, if I watch first 48, I have to think I'm a forensic tech. All I need is 10 minutes of the show. That's verbiage. I can do that. I've now turned that into saving souls, bringing them to Christ. But me and Lowe's, we had this, what's the word I'm looking for? We had this bond. What'd you say? Toxic. Okay, I can agree with that. It was a toxic but loving thing we had. It was a toxic thing. Darnell is not lying there, because Darnell and Brian both be like, man, you need to let her go. I'm like, man, y'all need to mind y'all business. Because y'all ain't doing what y'all relationship ain't right either. But that's neither here nor there. Brian married his love. I didn't marry mine, but in spirit, I'm married to him. I love that man. We all grow, we change. But it was toxic, it was toxic. It was toxic. But it was me and Lowe's. We had some good times, we had some fight times, we had some bad. I remember one time, I think I swung a candle across the room because he pissed me off so bad. Next thing I know, his hands was around my throat. And I said, that's all you got? You better take me out. He said, let me call her father, because this woman is crazy. But he stood up for my children. Like I said, he's not a fighter, but he's like, hey, they messing with me, I got it. Y'all remember that one time he got it? I don't know, this is my moment. That's the Blue House. That's Tammy Street. Hold on. I'm gonna say this one last thing since they rushing me. Only my brother can say that. But I remember this one time, Lowe's got into it with somebody. Next thing I know, he done called the people from the trailer park. He called my brother Kelby. Everybody came, put their pistols on the table. They said, and Jake won't know bigger than this now, because Lowe's wasn't fighting. He's the instigator. He's gonna start it, but he gonna put that fire out. And then that's being said, I love Lowe's. God be the glory. Whoever wants to come next.
Follow that.
Now he ain't got a shirt.
What's going on, everybody? I'm DJ IG. I'm not going to even attempt to follow that. Not even going to attempt to. I'm one half of the Wright brothers. Los was special to me and Eddie. And I've been thinking over the last couple of weeks just about some of the different times that me and Los have had together, whether it was him and Brian coming through to the House of Hits to sell their first EP, or just sitting in Barnes Land and just chopping it up with him. Like Los, like what everybody said, like Los is definitely one of those guys that you either gonna love him or you're gonna hate him, but he was unapologetic with everything he did. And that's what hip hop is. Hip hop is unapologetic. And Los was the embodiment of hip hop. And to know Los is to know that if he rocked with you, he rocked with you all the way to the end. Like, I don't care if Los loved you, you can spit on him, you can kick him, he was still gonna love you, regardless. So, it's all good, bro. But the thing about Los, like I said, is he was lovable, he wasn't a fighter, and he was an angel walking amongst us. You know what I mean? Like, he had his flaws, we all got our flaws. But at the end of the day, like, when you got Los, you got a pure version of man, flaws and all. So Los, we love you, we miss you. Benita, you love your babies to no end. Peace.
I know some of y'all, I don't know all y'all, but it's sad that we're here for this, but it's good to see y'all. Los was my little brother as well. Martin was landing on my goodness. We had some good laughs there. We had some good cries there with Benita. We had some good cries over Benita there. I'm with Kelby on. He shouldn't have had to go out like that. But if Los loved you, like I said, he loved you no matter what. There's nothing you could have did to him to push him away from you. And I never tried. Yeah, Los was a great lyricist, but Los was also fun. Oh my goodness. Every time I think about him, I'm laughing and then I start to tear up because, I mean, at the barbershop, everybody know about the barbershop know that Los would go there and just cut up. And try not to, you know, it's hard because I love him. Right. I'm sure all y'all do as well. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna turn it over.
Z, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, man? I'm school, man. Hey, look, man. Filthy is 2-6 to the core, man. Can we get a hand for my brother, man? Can I get a hand for my brother, man? Can I get a hand for my brother, man? Hey, look, man, me and my brother Hood, the mayor, I don't know if y'all know it, man. We lived behind Filthy since we was like 5 or 6 years old in Trailer Park on South Brother Road. You know what I'm saying? So we grew up with him since then. Growing up, seeing this picture on the poster, if I emotional, seeing your poster in the flea market. She was huge beside Lil' Kim with her everything, you know, Lil' Kim, she wild. Yo, it was huge for us. The shows we would throw, Mr. Cheeks and them coming down Mob Deep, man, it's crazy. Dr. Doug, man, we appreciate everything you did, but Filthy, can we give it up there, please, one time, man? I love Filthy. I talked to him the day before he passed. He gave me so much wisdom. He's a genius. Would never get that twisted. Would never take that away from him. He didn't have to go out like that. One more time, give a hand for my brother, man. Anybody next?
What's going on? My name Kim Jones. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. Hey, come on up here. Dr. Hey, so I really didn't know bro like that, but I just knew the impact he had. So, right before he left, had the pleasure of doing an interview with Man Nerd, Dr. Doug, got Philly. So, I just really came here to present y'all this, man. So this piece was published back in March, man. As you can see, front page, got Filthy, Nerd, Dr. Duh, pictures from that show back in the day he was talking about. Man, Dr. Duh Hill, but also background is
I wasn't sure if I was going to come up here or not, but here I am. So thanks everybody for coming and showing up with Carlos today. He was such a special, talented, brilliant individual, irreplaceable. There's never going to be another place. Come on, you know. And I saw that from day one when Brian and him came to me and we were doing these little all-age punk shows and stuff, and we're like, hey, we do some hip-hop, we do reggae, we do all this stuff, and they brought a good quality sound, and it just blew minds and inspired J. Cole and that whole story, which I know all you are familiar with. So it's just, and he did, and Carlos he exuberated the love. I know you guys have talked about that, and I felt that more than anything. He made radio edits for my store. He was just so supportive and representing DeVille and DeVille Skate Shop and all the music that we've done. So it was just a blessing to work with him and know him. So let's give it up.
I'm gonna keep mine short and simple because like most of y'all, I only had a small moment of time to actually meet and know Carlos. But anybody who knows me, if you know me, I'm a big hip hop fan. Like, I'm a big fan, biggest guy to the smallest guy. So coming to Fayetteville, hearing stories of Bomb Shelter, and the fact that they were the mentors of J. Cole, I always kind of knew that story. And also, I always listened to the music around here since I was like 19. So I came to North Carolina, I've been listening to a lot of North Carolina music. So I always knew who he was. And I always wanted to meet him along with a few others. I got a chance about 2 years ago. A friend of mine had brought him to my crib to record, and we was working on the tape. And I guess he heard some stuff we was working on. He's like, we come see what's up, these guys. He came, he met my bro, he met my moms. We had a great time. We did the joint. We talked a little more, and I started asking questions about, Fayetteville and the history of music and the stories he would tell me. Like the stories he would tell me about some of y'all in the crowd tonight, like how y'all used to get in on the stage, and some of y'all little, stories of how y'all came up and everything. It really inspired me. And somewhere down the line, we just reconnected again, and I was kicking it with him the past couple of months. Actually, that fateful day, he had left my crib that morning. One of the biggest things I have is just saying, if I could just say one more thing to him before he left, just one more. Because like I said, I revere and fuck with Filthy Rich rapper, but I got to know a little more of Carlos Brown, man, and I admire that more than just the rap. And I just want to thank him for the jewels he instilled upon me and my team, the encouragement he gave me and my team. The inspiration he gave the city. Raleigh has Hall of Justice. If you're from Blaine County, you might know Crunch Mob. Fayetteville has Bomb Shelter. They talk the history of North Carolina hip hop, and they got to come around this area. That's the first name they got to bring up. And once they bring that up, hopefully, I will be amongst the names. I know some of y'all gonna be mentioning it too. Maybe one day I'll be mentioning on that. But that's how I said, I miss my bro. I just hope wherever he at, there's no more pain, no more heartache. Just, I don't think it's